What sex acts in your relationship wasn't normal? Story 1.
This happened about a month ago. I am from Eastern Europe originally, but this happened while I was vacationing in Colombia. It's not really sexual tbh. I'm extremely introverted, and I was trying to make friends with a couple. Was sitting next to a couple, who was also there on vacation. We got to chatting and found out they had been married for a few years. Really nice people actually. At one point, I was informed by the staff that I had a package delivery at the front desk. I excused myself and went to retrieve it, as I had been waiting for it for a while. I am gay and like to wear women's lingerie to sleep. I was going to Colombia by myself and didn't want any embarrassing situations during customs, so I opted to have this shipped to the hotel instead. When I came back with the package, I noticed the wife kept staring at it. Honestly, it was kind of rude. It didn't even belong to her. I felt like she kind of knew what was really in there, which is fine. I don't care what people may think, just don't be so obvious about it. Anyway, she comes over later and starts asking me about my package because it was so unusually big to be carrying around. I tell her that I am carrying it around because who in their right mind wants to come back out after they go to their room from the pool? Honestly, it was just a small box, so I don't see why she was going on about it. She asked me if she could see the package and I said sure. I would love to show her. I love hearing a girl's opinion on this stuff. I just started getting into lingerie, so maybe she might have better idea of what works with my skin. We make plans for her to check out my package back in my hotel room, and she goes off to let her husband know, like I said. Really sweet couple. I have seen some married folk that go off without saying anything to their spouse. She comes up and excitedly says she's been waiting all day to see the package. I proceed to open the box and show her the lingerie I got. Garter belt, crotchless satin panties, that sort of thing. She stares at me for a second and asks me if I bought that for her. I ask her how she thinks they look on me. She turns totally red and then says she has to go because her husband will be worried about her. That's disappointing. I was looking forward to hitting up some shops with her later. Throughout the entire stay there, the husband would not even make eye contact with me. His eyes would always be focused downwards. Disappointing actually. I really went out of my way to make friends, and it didn't work out, and people wonder why I am an introvert.
Story 2.
My second partner ever. I was not ready for. We were going at it missionary style, except in my experience, it was more of a drill sergeant kind of missionary, meaning she would yell and scream at me, all talking dirty, and I'd be doing push-ups as fast as I could, basically on top of her. Needless to say, she was far more experienced. Anyways, things quickly escalated. Eventually she kindly yelled at me, punch me in the face. Me being the gentleman I am, I ignored her request. She continued yelling harder, faster. Her sweat pouring off my face. She sternly yells again, hit me. Confused, I awkwardly but gently slapped, dragged my open hand across her face, my heart beating out of my chest. Suddenly the atmosphere changed into what I can only describe as a scene from The Exorcist. At the apogee of my push-up, she screams, hit me. I slap her slightly harder, but I only awoke the demons. She judo flips my ass over in this sexual pincer move, all the while sounding like a Spartan at Thermopylae. Hi at me. She flipped me again. I'm like a penguin in the water, covered in sweat and spit from her battle cry. I'm terrifying, and I do what any man would do. I punched her dead fucking center in her fucking face and she loses it. Absolutely loved it. She flips me over, nose bleeding, slapping herself, slapping me, all the while bouncing up and down. I was mortified. She eventually finished, and at this point my bed looks like a murder scene. Afterwards she cuddled me like the little spoon I am. TL. Doctor, I do not like her, Sam. I am. I will not fuck her on a bus. I will not make a fuss, but I will defend myself when she gets rough.
Story 3.
In my younger years, I attended a psytrance festival in the middle of Wisconsin on the property of an infamous nudist camp. Pretty normal psy festival with no funny business, so to speak. Second night in, while keeping a nice buzz, I began talking with the groundskeeper, being like, wow, this festival is pretty wild. This man turns his head, spits, and grumbles, you haven't seen shit. We ask him to elaborate. Come back 2 weeks from now for rape weekend. Pressing for more, he told us exactly what that was. Women with their kink come from all over. The first day is all mingling and getting to know folks. Then on the second day, after waivers are signed, they all strip down to nothing but shoes and it begins. The women get a 5-minute head start sprinting all over the property, followed by groups of men who chase them down to participate in their fantasy. So my answer is that. Rape weekend at the nudist campground. Edit. Did not attend the fabled weekend, but the guy's face said it all. Definitely not my bag, baby.
Story 4.
My ex. But seriously, I'd day that anything BDSM and anything related to that type of stuff was difficult for me since I don't like hurting people, and there was also the weirdly specific roleplay she wanted to do that would last for days and not like a few hours, like male pregnancy, having me roleplay as a clone, Cody, from Star Wars Clone Wars, and imagining she had an alternate personality which was a brat that had to be screwed in order to go away. At first it seemed like common things related to longer-term BDSM-type relationships, but eventually I realized after she was repeatedly pushing things like the male pregnancy stuff on me that she probably should find someone who was more willing to regularly do that type of play that was actually into it. I'd also say probably half the stuff my ex-girlfriend wanted to try, I was okay trying, but the amount of stuff she expected me to be capable of doing first try was not something my anatomy was capable of in terms of flexibility, length of time, or pain tolerance. There was also the polyamory. I am a monogamous type of person and I don't get on to people about being poly, but I prefer a monogamous relationship, and she would often push to have anyone and everyone possible for her to sleep with. Eventually she had me drive to go pick up her ex-boyfriend so that I could let them hook up while I was in another room nearby. Might have been a cucking thing, nearby enough to hear, but not see. It was at that moment I realized my ex was in fact someone I was not into. It was for a number of reasons, but her constant pushing on my boundaries was definitely something that bothered me enough to leave her. Edit. I didn't expect people to care so much and to make sure that I am okay. To confirm, yes, I am okay. Aside from some issues related to my memory due to the gaslighting and abuse I received from my ex, I am doing good. I appreciate everyone showing concern. Also, clarity on the cucking thing.
Story 5.
God, I'm a boring old straight vanilla. No threesomes. I'm straight, so no chicks, 2 guys just seems too slutty star. No anal, tried it a few times, it was horrible. So this goes without saying, no ass to mouth, because there will be no ass in the first place. No BDSM stuff. Anything other than an ass slap, biting or hair pulling is off limits. Nothing with shit, piss, puke, etc., no crazy positions. Missionary, doggy, reverse cowgirl, on the side is fine. But I am not flexible, if the position hurts I am not getting enjoyment out of it. No pegging, just creeps me out. If a guy likes his ass being stimulated, that's cool. But the act of me fucking him just seems too emasculating. No coming in my face or inside my vagina. I'm not on BC and am child-free. No weird role-playing scenarios. I am not dressing up as a schoolgirl or us pretending like we don't know each other. No hooking up in weird locations. Banging into the confession booth of a church isn't hot and exciting, it's fucking terrifying. I'd be afraid of getting arrested. Sorry if anyone is offended by my use of the word slut, I don't care what other people do. I generally would consider myself against slut shaming. If there was a better word to describe how 2 dudes banging me would make me feel, I'd use.
Story 6.
One of my girlfriends and I were doing a road trip once and spent the night at a nice little B&B. We hadn't been together for very long and were still discovering each other. The place we were staying at had a really big shower and handles on the walls. At the time we thought it's probably because they know people like to fuck on holiday, so they made it easier to do so, but I'm just now realizing it was probably a disability-friendly shower. Anyways, we start getting handsy and immediately I'm like, this feels like shit. It was as if she was trying to polish my knob with a newspaper. I don't want to hurt her feelings though, so I'm like moaning, in agony, and she's like, oh yeah. You like that? I knew I had to stop it, so I started shaking a bit and went, And that's how I faked my male orgasm.
Thank you for watching. Be sure to comment your opinion about these stories, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new stories.